When you lessen the scope of the problem, you're able to solve it really well by giving it a lot of love and energy. And that's exactly what we did with April. We picked the core actions across email, calendar, and decided that we would really use voice to solve all of those use cases. When we put all our attention to this, what ended up was a product that just works.
Welcome back to the Lobster Talks, where I bring you the best conversations with the best YC founders. Today, I'm very excited to bring on Neha from April. Neha and her co-founder are building the AI voice assistant I think we've all always dreamed of. So basically, it's a voice AI you can talk to that helps you organize your day and that helps you answer all of your emails. So if you're driving to work, you can get to work at inbox zero already when you're there. Isn't that the dream? So let's unpack everything and let's talk together about how YC is thinking of voice and AI together because there's a lot of things happening right now. Neha, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gabriel, for having me. It's my pleasure to be on the show today.
So I gave a brief introduction, but I'm sure you'll give a much better one. Tell us a little bit about what you're building at April.
So, April is a voice AI executive assistant. It helps you triage your email, manage your calendar schedule, all while you're driving to work. Today, all of us are like burdened with a lot of email inbound, a lot of calendar back to back meetings. And if you had an assistant that could help you get prepared for the day, that could like archive all those unimportant emails or send those replies, all of us deserve that assistant. And that's exactly what April is.
And by the way, you say when you're driving to work, I'm not driving to work, but still I use it in so many other use cases. You can use it when you're working out. You can use it when you're doing the dishes or the laundry. You can use it when you're taking out the trash. You can just use it all the time, even for a few minutes. And so, yeah, I've been a big user of it and just loving it. I think it unlocks so much. So let's dive in. You know, we have very savvy investors watching this show, and there's been so many tries at this. There's been so many people attempting to do exactly this. But what really got me hooked is you're actually, I guess, the only one that actually works. So explain this to me. It's a miracle that you've done it. All the others are either in closed beta or not, available to the public, or just don't work well. And yours just does everything. You can filter the most important emails for you to go at first. You can just answer them. You can like, hey, tell Neha I'll connect to the podcast in a minute, and that's it. It's going to actually send the email. Like it does everything. It's like talking to a human. So how did you make it happen? Why do so many others, including at YC, are not able to do it?
So, the thing that really helped us is before building April as a vertical agent, we were building a platform that was used for testing other voice agents. That helped us really understand how to make voice agents perform really, really well. And April was just an extension of that, where we built one specific agent that had to do some limited things and do all of them really well. So I think oftentimes the problem is people try to tackle a problem that's too big. They want to like do everything with voice. But we realized that the recurring problem is with emails, calendar, and Slack, and that is like the initial set of problems we're trying to solve for. When you lessen the scope of the problem, you're able to solve it really well by giving it a lot of love and energy. And that's exactly what we did with April. We picked the core actions across email, calendar, and decided that we would really use voice to solve all of those use cases. When we put all our attention to this, what ended up was a product that just works.
It's crazy because so many investors, are investing and betting on sort of AI replacing humans. But the problem is those tools either don't do the work, or it's not either, it's both. They don't do the work well enough, and then they sort of die on retention. And I'm guessing your retention is probably good. And the reason, please tell us more, but the reason is it really does feel like a human assistant. It really just works. And so maybe that's what you said. It's just you focused on a very narrow problem. I think there are more secrets that you don't want to share, and that's fine. You should keep your trade secrets. But in any case, yeah, I don't know if you've thought of it that way of retention while building it.
No, we weren't actually thinking of retention while we were building it. While we were building it, there was just one goal that we should build a product that both Akash and I could use every day. And when our standards were that high, like I use April to send out investor emails and all of that. So when the bar was that high, there would be like so many things that I would find small bugs and I would be like, this cannot go out to customers. We were like very critical of the product that we built and we would quickly iterate and only put out a version that we were kind of okay with using ourselves. When we did that, When I was able to go back to April every day and use it, then I automatically ended up building a product that other people would want to keep coming back to as well. Retention is very important, but to be honest, we didn't think of it at the start. At the start, the goal was just to build a great, great product.
It reminds me of eat your own dog food. Like
Correct.
if you can use your own product, Brian Chesky from Airbnb
Mhm.
still spends several weeks every year sleeping in random Airbnbs just to live the experience himself.
Correct.
The other thing that reminded me on is founder mode. Again, Brian Chesky, where you said, I want to go into every single detail. I want to make sure it really, really works. So are you the first one of the first glimpse that we are getting with AI voice operated agents? Because we're all talking about agentic, and agents are everywhere. They're semi autonomous, but people are talking humans are end to end, and agents are middle to middle. The problem with the agent is it sort of stops here, it stops in the middle and doesn't complete the entire task. And so are you a first iteration of a voice operated agents? Is this the future in your opinion? Are you at the forefront of the next wave of agents that are sort of voice commanded, voice operated? Maybe when your agent is stuck, it just gives you a phone call and you give it instructions on the phone, and then in 30 seconds you can hang up and go back to, like, is this how you think the future of agents is going to be?
It's not even going to be a call. It's just going to be something that you're connected with already. It could be a device, it could be your phone, and you're going to start speaking. And then your agent executes and completes, like closes the loop. That's exactly what I
It,
think
it,
of. Yeah.
it's almost like Siri in a sense,
A
but it's
much better, more functional, more intelligent
of
version of
course.
Siri. Yeah.
Of course, of course. Wow. So yeah, you should just sell to Apple and make this native to the iPhone. And like April is actually the assistant that handles all of your calendar and emails from the iPhone, like the Siri 2.0. That would be killer. Again, there's been so many. I'm still sort of coming at this from an investor's perspective. I've seen so many of those before, and every investor that's looking at YC has seen so many of those as well. And so there's sort of it's a crowded space. There's a lot of, I guess, investor fatigue around it.
Mhm.
Like, oh, okay, yeah, ugh, I've seen this before. And again, I think the interesting thing here is it just works, and I
Yes.
think it just works so much better. And also, there's been a lot of B2B plays in the voice space, but there are very few B2C. And you're sort of B2C, even though it's for professionals, but you can just use it as a person as well. So how did that go for you during the batch? Did some investors sort of treat you as such, like, oh my god, another voice AI, like, oh, we're not even going to take the meeting? What was the investors reaction? And but also, I mean, we can talk about the investor reaction first, but also how was it in the batch with several other voice competitors, even though they're not necessarily on exactly the same thing, but actually I think in your batch there's one or two doing exactly the same thing. So let's talk about those two things.
So, luckily for us, voice companies came together as a cohesive unit. We would help each other out. We had a voice meetup in BAPI talking about all the problems we were going through. And the problems are similar, even though they're for very different verticals. And we were, the specific company that was directly competing with us was in a different group. And they have a different angle to kind of solving the same problem. So it was never like head to head collisions. We just want to build the best product, may the best product win. I think that's the mindset a lot of us have. But having a lot of people building in the voice space was a good place. Like we could put forward our problems, we could learn from them. There were people who were building voice models, people building voice infrastructure. So anytime we got blocked on something, we could just like, hey, this is what we're going through. Have you come across this problem before? It was more helpful than anything else, to be honest. You'd asked about the investor reactions as well. More often than not, the investors who actually ended up investing in us were people who used the product and really liked it. We would have calls where they'd not use the product, then it would be like, oh, everybody does this. But if the person came to the call having already used the product, it was just such an easy call for me. It would barely be like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, like, yeah, we already like it, we believe in you, and then they went from there. It was very empowering if you could have people use the product and then come.
It's so interesting. It kind of makes me wonder which investor comes to a call and has not even tried the product. Like, what are you I mean, it's probably something people don't realize about YC companies is because the rounds go so quickly, you should sort of do your own research before, and should come a little bit prepared. And people show up, like they just get out of bed and be like, hey, Neha, I don't know anything. Tell me about what you're building. Well, that's not ideal, I guess, for a YC company. And in this case, it seems like they probably missed out if they just did not get it, did not invest. Well, I mean, your story obviously is yet to be written. We'll see when you IPO at 100 billion. But what I'm saying is they just couldn't get it. So very interesting for investors watching us. Come prepared, and that's, I mean, for YC, but it's probably best for every startup, honestly. The other thing I wanted to go back to again for people, people watch this show to get the inside view of YC as well. They want to know what's going on inside YC. And what you said is so interesting because there's so many people who say, "Oh, YC, they have two, three, four competing companies in the same batch doing exactly the same thing." What you just said, they're not in the same group. It's like you
Mhm.
almost don't see them.
Correct.
So what people don't understand is there's, let's say, maybe 10, 20, 12 group partners in each batch. And so they all run almost their mini YC. And
Correct.
some group partners come together and do groups of two, three group partners. But basically, if there's a competitor but it's in another group, you might almost never see them. It's so big now. There's 120,
100
150
companies. Yeah.
companies. So 250, 300 founders. You might never actually speak with them at all.
Mhm.
Um, and so it's not, people see this in a bad way. Oh, YC, gets competitors. How is it possible? How does that make sense? Because it's a lot of different mini YCs next to each other,
That is true.
and the partners are independent in choosing who they want to bring in their cohort. So they sometimes don't even talk to each other, don't even know that the other one is. So that's very interesting. Of course, a single group partner, they usually have 15, 20 companies, probably wouldn't bring competitors in the same
And
group.
yeah, the same group partner likely will not have two companies that are competing with each other.
Exactly. But what you said, you had other companies in the same space, and that was actually very helpful for you. Not to mention probably the YC alumni network, not in your batch, but from previous years, which is very, very extensive. Did you tap into that? Was that helpful for you in the voice space?
We did tap into some of them. Like Vapi is a YC alum, right? We initially started off with Vapi. We used the product to build out our MVP, and we do reach out to their founder to float around any questions that we had. But overall, the YC community is so open that if you need help at any point in time, you could just like reach out to them, and they would respond to you just because you just finished the batch.
Yeah, that's really cool. Um, Taking on another hat, which is YC's hat, it's also an investor's hat because I'm talking about investors like me, like others who invest during YC at demo day, etc., etc. But YC themselves are investors. They're giving you $500,000, and it's also, in a way, they're also running a VC fund.
Mhm.
Um, why do you think they keep funding so many bets in that space when it's so crowded and they've funded so many? And not it's probably not a bad idea because you come in, you're probably AI voice startup number 35 or more, and still, you're building this and you're the first one. But why do you think they keep just funding the same startup over and over again? That's not the case, but in this very same space.
Um, I would say that they fund startups in very similar spaces because they are investors, they have their own theses, and they know that certain sectors are up for like a radical change. Voice AI being the layer for multiple sectors is actually what's going to happen in the future. They're already seeing it. And hence they're placing repeated bets because one of these companies is going to go out and like change the way the world interacts with tools. And they're placing bets on people that they think could become that person. I think it's a very wise bet in my head. It's like the sector is going to do really really well. Just keep betting on the same space. One of them is going to win.
And again, something many investors maybe don't understand is YC can take so many bets. They have around 500 companies per year, and so it doesn't really matter for them. And it's when you think about it, that's what it is with venture as well. The losers don't matter as much as the winners because the winners are just so much bigger. Okay, super super cool.
Also, one thing to add is that the space is so big, there will be multiple winners. I think
Yeah.
the space is,
It's probably not a winner takes all. Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be like fragmented, different smaller verticals within that, and there are going to be multiple companies that do really really well.
So then that's an interesting point to double click on. Did you choose sort of this? We could say you're the, I don't know, the Gmail of voice AI.
Mhm.
So everyone uses Gmail, either individuals or very busy professionals. There's a Google Suite, etc. And it's the same for you. Like just an individual who's not even working, student, retired, whatever, could use April. And of course, a super busy professional or organization and teams could use April as well. Did you choose, like you said, there's going to be several winners. Was this an active choice from you and your co-founder to go after this segment that is so big? It's probably one of the biggest, because you could be building in B2B. Many are doing that. But this is almost a global product that could reach billions of users. Was this intentional?
It was not intentional. So the way we got into YC was very different. We went to this hackathon where we built a voice assistant to get to inbox zero, and we ended up winning the hackathon and getting into YC. It was something.
And by the way, you won how many hackathons? 14, right?
Not 14, somewhere around the two-digit range, but not specifically 14.
Wow. Well, so yeah, you've won dozens of. Okay, sorry, keep going.
So the thing is, we built something that we would use. We were already building voice agent evals. We were kind of struggling, thinking, what do we do with evals? Evals is a little bit early to the market. And then this happened, and then we kind of posted it on Reddit and figured out a lot of people wanted the same, exact same product that I wanted for myself. It was not a conscious choice to go after a big market. It was just to solve a problem that really existed and bothered a lot of people. And I think that ended up becoming typical YC advice: build something people want.
Yeah, it's crazy because you, again, like, it was not conscious,
Yeah.
but in a sense, you went after a problem that was bothering you. But it's so interesting. You went after, yeah, email time management, which is universal. It could be applied to everyone. To wrap up this first segment, we talked a lot about investors and what they think about voice AI, why YC is still funding those bets, why they probably think there's going to be several winners in the space. And you obviously could be one because they chose you. And again, there's probably thousands and thousands of voice AI companies applying to YC, but you're in the very, very few, in the maybe 10 this year that got in. So
Mhm.
you are already very, very special in their eyes, and in mine, obviously, and in many, many other people's eyes. Um, but what what do you think investors are missing, are not seeing with the voice AI opportunity? What do you think most investors don't see right now that's happening? That's maybe the next investment opportunity for them to make a lot of money.
So voice is going to change things very fast. A lot of people are not as bullish on voice as I think they should be. They still think that a lot companies or enterprises or people in general will be slow to adopt voice because they're so used to the screen. I think that is going to change. Voice is the new modality of interaction. And the more you start observing the younger generations, like 25 and younger, you see them send voice notes more than they send text messages. And that is such a clear signal that these are the people who are going to be in the workforce for the next like 20, 25 years. They are going to be in positions of power in like next 10 years. And if they're so bullish in voice, if that is what they are using every single day, we need to keep our eyes open and learn from these people. We need to see the direction that the future is taking. And by being blind to the younger generation on their ways of interaction is just limiting us completely in terms of predicting the future.
This is so cool. I couldn't agree more. I mean, even myself, and I'm not in the 20-25-year-old range anymore, sadly, but I I use voice so much because it's gotten so much better. I use a lot of dictation, which is, you're not sending a voice message,
Mm.
you're sending a text message, but you're dictating it,
Yeah, correct.
and it just works really well. It was at the beginning on the iPhone, probably 10 years ago, it was not so good, but now it's very, very good, and it learns the word, etc. So, and I know a lot of people do that as well. I want to again double click on something. I don't know if our listeners picked up on it. Oh, by the way, because I always forgot, and I forgot as well. Please, if you're watching this, consider subscribing. If you're on your favorite podcast platform, give us a 5-star review. That really helps. If you're on YouTube, you can watch us. It's even better. You can turn on the notification bell. We publish a new episode every week, usually on Tuesdays. Thank you so much. Okay, back to the show. So, yeah, you said something just very quickly, but I want to ask you about that. You sort of opposed voice with screens. You said people are using voice and they're not going to use screens anymore. So right now when I use voice on my iPhone, it's still a screen and I just use, but of course, April, I often use it, not often, I always use it without a screen because there's nothing. It's just my AirPods and that's it. So do you think the future of voice, which is what you were just talking about, is sort of screenless? Or do you think it's still screens and we talk to the screens with voice? But you seemed to think, but I want to hear you on that. You seem to think that maybe the future is actually screenless.
The future is going to be much less screen, much more voice. And in the transition, it's going to be hybrid where you look at things, get confirmation. But when voice gets really good, and when you can trust voice to take actions the way a human does, you're not going to use your screen as much. Like, think of how you place an order today. Like, you call the restaurant and you tell them that, hey, I want this pizza and I want these extra toppings on it, and then you're done. You're not looking at a screen at all. The same way when you're speaking to your executive assistant, you're like on the call, like, what is important today? Can you tell me? And you're getting that information from her or him, giving back some information, but there's no screen involved. Today, we use screens because we don't have that level of trust on voice. And maybe voice isn't like the best it can be. But when it becomes like the superlative, the amazing, intelligent voice that it can be, will you still need screens? I don't think so. Not as much anyway. Like for these voice enabled things, you will just depend on voice without a screen.
That's just very, very cool. I mean, I'm, of course, like almost everyone listening, I guess, spending, I don't know, 20 hours a day on screens, or maybe it's not 20, but like we're spending most of our days on screens. I've just accepted this as a fact of life. I'm not even saying it's a bad thing. I mean, we do so many amazing things on screens and run our businesses. And like many people, we can take our laptop and be almost anywhere in the world and still run our business. It's pretty fantastic. But I guess less screen would not hurt.
Yeah.
And so I've also sometimes used April. So instead of just opening my laptop, I'm saying to myself and checking my emails, I'm like, hey, I'm going to just use April instead and just have a walk, have a 10-minute walk, triaging my emails, and I can look around. I can look at the sky and trees and not at the screen. It makes me very hopeful, and you're very well positioned to sort of tell us about what the future of voice and screens are. So what you're telling me right now is making me hopeful. Maybe we spend just a few hours a day less in front of a screen, and that would be just great. It's actually interesting because we do so many Zoom calls, and we have the image as well. But when I'm talking to my assistant, I usually do it on Zoom. But now you make me think I should do it on a phone call and I
Mhm.
should step outside. Again, I just should just be, you know,
Yeah.
not in front of a screen. Like if I can have 30 minutes of anyway, this is very interesting. Okay. Um, so let's talk about demo day. Again, I think that a lot of people have a lot of curiosity around, and maybe lots of fantasies, I guess, around demo day. So now you're coming into demo day, and even though that other company, for example, was not in your group, now they're going to present at demo day still. And so you have some sort of immediate competition, plus a lot of others who are not directly competing, but still in the voice AI world. And so you probably know many investors are here and be like, oh, I want to do maybe one or two investments in this space. You have to win. You have to be one of them. So sort of how do you prepare for that? What was your game plan, and how do you differentiate yourself during demo day?
So for us, we were live with our product. We were actually iterating really, really fast. That was very important. So, and the thing about YC is most of the thing happens before the demo day. Demo day is just like the final pieces, a few interesting angels that come in. There's very little that happens on or after demo day. A big chunk of it happens a week before. So when you go to demo day, you already have a clear thought in your head that you're going to talk to as many people as you can, because at this stage the people who are making bets on demo day are betting more on you than on the product. They're looking at the numbers, yes, but they're also seeing how they feel when they talk to you. There could be someone that who's super excited about the product, and then they come and speak to you and they don't feel that energy match, and then they're not going to invest. You want to go there, put the best version of yourself out there, and tell them the real metrics. Tell them what you've done in those 8 weeks. And if that progress seems to create a picture in their mind that you're a person who can hustle, I think you've already won the bet there.
I mean, I couldn't agree more with everything you're saying. Um, there's many. I mean, I think if I'm thinking of the same competitor you're talking about, which we won't name because I'm not even sure who it is, but I think they didn't launch or partially launched. So of course, being live with paying customers, first of all, goes a long way. But then my style of investing for sure, but it's not very original. I think many other investors as well are looking of what you've accomplished in those 8 9 weeks, and there's big discrepancies between founders, even at YC. I mean, YC, the filter is extremely good, the quality is very high. But even in YC, I mean, I'm sure you've seen this. Some people execute more than others, faster than others, and get better results. There's no really a secret here. Like building a business, whatever type of business, is very difficult. Getting results so quickly is very difficult. You have to bring a lot of energy and talent probably to the table to do that.
And you just have to do
Um,
it really, really fast. I think at the end of the day, you execute, then you're going to win. Like you execute,
yeah,
you learn faster, you fail faster. There's so much good that comes out of executing things.
I agree so much. I mean, thank you for saying that. It's really awesome. I had a startup earlier today ask me, hey, we're doing 15K MRR. What should I do? And this is probably the advice, exactly the same advice that I gave them that I would give to anyone is I told them, ship stuff quickly, put it in front of your users, get feedback, and then repeat the cycle. Then with the feedback, you ship something else, put it in front of your users, just build and sell and build and sell and build and sell. So many people don't ship stuff fast enough. So many people stay in their room and don't put it in front of the users. So it's just that's how you build a successful business. Um, so tell me. So today it's calendar, inbox, and Slack. Tomorrow I think it's WhatsApp as well.
It's going.
Um,
We're not live with Slack yet. We will be soon. It'll be Slack, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Notion, and then add for whatever our users ask.
so LinkedIn, is it going to be the inbox, the LinkedIn inbox?
Yes, you're going.
And Notion is what? It's just to take notes. Sorry, go ahead.
LinkedIn is like you integrate your account and then you do whatever actions you want with voice, sending messages, check your notifications, all of that. And
And Notion is just
Notion people
taking notes,
want
or
access, like they want to go through their documents. They wanted to read out what's there on Notion, and they want to add
oh,
more
it's really
to
cool.
existing documents.
Because you can collaborate as well. I have a lot of people putting stuff on my Notion, so I can pull up my Notion and say, oh, what's okay, yeah, that's cool. And so, are you thinking now of? I'm sure you are. So I'm very excited of probably a next step, which is hands-free, voice-first, screenless workflows or automations. Like, are you building the screenless OS? Like, are you building a way to run your business without a screen?
Yes, that would be like the ideal end goal. But first, we need to know which workflows are really important to automate with voice. And for that, we need some time. We need to see what our users are using, learn from them. And I've been burned by this in the past by imagining problems and solving them. This time, I'm going to let my customers lead the way. But that is what is there in our mind, that you build a voice layer for executing important tasks on your business completely without depending on a screen.
Wow, I'm excited. Please make it happen. We want to stop staring at our screens. Um, what was the hardest thing about your YC journey, or maybe your fundraising journey?
So the YC journey, the hardest part was like keep the energy high all 8 weeks.
Hmm.
You are running like 14-hour days. You're doing it on repeat, and sometimes you just get a little exhausted, but you don't have the time to take a break.
Hmm.
Have to reset your mind and be like, okay, this is an 8 week thing where you have to push to the demo day because that's where most of the action is happening. The 1 week before demo day, which means like imagine it's really 6 weeks where you can get a lot of things done, get some numbers up on the dashboard, and then you start showing it to your investors by the seventh week. That's a lot
Wow.
to get done, and you just have to keep your energy high all the time. And I think that was a little bit challenging about about the YC journey.
What tricks did you find? Like, is it cold plunge, meditation, workout? How can you reset your mind? How can you stay high energy for so long?
It's a mental thing. You have to just force yourself, keep your eyes on the end game. Like, okay, September 9th is demo day. I need to get a lot of things done by September 1. And just keep pushing yourself. Like, it's just September 1. It's like a marathon that you have to finish on September 1. And then you like figure out what next. But it was this imaginary thing in my head that I would just keep resetting, and being around the people who are also thinking the same way. It's like a, I don't know, a collective energy that's flowing across. So we would meet people for group office hours and tell them that these are our goals for the next 2 weeks. And then you have to show face there. You have to like finish those goals. Even if you're falling short, you can't fall short by so much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. The I know the group office hours are really sort of a peer pressure. Like you don't want to show up empty handed. People are gonna be like, what? What have you like? We're killing ourselves, and you've been doing nothing.
You wouldn't say
Um,
it, but you would see it because they've hit their goals. And then you would feel like a failure.
yeah,
So in your head, you're like, oh, I can't go this way. It's a mental game through and through, Gabriel.
it's really cool. So many things. Like I used to teach aspiring VCs how to raise their first fund. And I mean, when I say I used to teach, it's not the right thing. I there was a course, and I was one of the many speakers, and so I was giving a talk, and that was my entire talk. Was success here is all a mental game. It's just
Mhm.
because VCs raising a fund is pretty much like a startup raising money is a lot of rejection.
Yeah.
Not at YC, of course,
Oh, there
but
is. Yes. Even at YC, it's like,
even in YC, there's rejection, right? Even if a VC fund that's so successful as Lobster Capital gets rejection, and so um, it's difficult when you and for a fund, it's actually probably even more rejection than for a startup because it's you're going to talk to people. Say to raise a fund, you need to talk to I don't know 1,000, 2,000 people. Like it's a lot, and it's a fundraise is a couple weeks. If you're YC, it's 1 week. If you're a startup, it could be 2, 3, 4 weeks. But a fund is going to take you 18 months
oh,
to raise, 12 to 18 months. So it's a rejection for a long time. So that was my talk. I said, hey, I'm not going to teach you any tricks, any like, oh, this is who you should get money. Just it's a mental game, and if you keep your mental, stable and high. So I have developed some tricks, which is good sleep, like good physical hygiene, like good sleep, working out, meditation, uh, lots of things actually I think help. You apparently you don't even need that. But I wanted to ask you.
right after
Go ahead.
YC got over, I started my workout. I resumed my runs
Yeah.
because you have to sustain that momentum.
So that's the perfect transition. So how do you sustain the momentum? So I've asked this question to hundreds of YC founders, and usually what they say is, "Oh, we keep doing the group office hours with the same group." Are you doing that as well?
Yes, I'm doing that as well.
And you're doing the workout, so that should help as well. Are you doing other things to just keep that momentum alive?
I keep talking to a lot of my friends from YC, and then we keep sharing our wins and losses. And I'm discussing with a friend that we're going to have a meetup every Monday morning to like just pump each other up, and
Mm.
then like keep the momentum going for the week. I think once a week,
Ah, wow. Monday morning, getting pumped
Monday
up.
morning coffees. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. I should come. Monday morning, like,
Absolutely.
whoa! If the energy is not high enough one day, no problem. You invite me, I'll come and I'll
Yeah.
cheer for you guys. I'm like, yeah. Um, any other things? And I'm asking you this because I mean it's inspiring for everyone. To be honest with you, it's even inspiring for me. Like we're humans. We're not perfect, and everyone has bad days. I'm sure you have them.
Yeah.
I have them. Some days you wake up and you're like, ah, it's so difficult. Like we all do. And so, but it's good. Of course, this is not a like it's not a coffee that's going to change everything. You actually have to be overall optimistic and happy about what you're doing in your life, etc. But sometimes the small tricks, sometimes they kind of help. Like, this morning I woke up in a bad mood. I was just in a very bad mood, and I realized I didn't work out for 5 days, and so I was like, let's. I had a bunch of meetings in the morning that I postponed. I was like, let me go for a run, and I ran. I don't know 3 miles or 3.5, like very short. Just like that 30 minutes. I came back, took a cold shower,
Mm.
and then I was like, okay, now I've already achieved something today that I'm proud of. I feel so much better. You have all the chemicals in your body, and the day was great. So those small things, they're not everything, but in my opinion, they still count. Which is why I'm asking you this for our audience as well. So anything you can share? Very excited to hear.
So I actually did start meditating recently because it was getting a little bit too much. And the other thing that really helps is like talking to people who are outside this. Like the startup ecosystem is highly competitive. You can talk about your company, but you need to reset and talk to people. So you talk about like normal things. So I connect with my family every Saturday. I'm speaking with them for an extended amount of time. Saturday is my day off, by the way. And then I speak with them, and then it helps me realize that there are more things than the startup. And somehow that energizes me to like do more. Like you want to do more for your family, you want to achieve more, and you also realize that there are multiple other things in life, and a small loss is not everything. You still have like you're still in good shape, you have good health, you have a strong mind, you can still build things, and that kind of helps you reset. Like okay, it's a bad day, it's not a bad forever, and you got to just keep going. I don't know, Gabriel. At this point, it's just become intrinsic habit. Like there are days when I see so much churn, and then it hurts me, like physically hurts me. And then I go back and look at the days where we had like good new signups, and I know that that will happen again. At least I trick myself into believing that will happen again, and it just does. And then it keeps
That's awesome.
going. Yeah.
I love that so very, very much. I mean, yeah, talking to your family, it's just so good. I mean, I love something I probably haven't heard that before, but I actually like it. I'm going to try, which is it could be your family or it could be anyone, but talk to regular people, not
Mhm.
startup people. Because
Yes.
you and me and everyone else, we just talk to startup people all day. And yeah, people have other problems probably bigger. Like people sometimes are in trouble, and we're complaining about retention and churn, but like that's not the we have food on our table, and um, I mean startup is tough. Sometimes you have some very very big problems and decisions to make, but still. And what people don't realize as well, something I think you said resonates with me as well. We always think if this fails, it's sort of the end of the world. First of all, if we have a bad day, if we have user churns, if we have blah blah blah, it's probably not the end of the company, right? It's just, I mean, today we have a user that churns. Tomorrow we get a new user. Um, but even if it is, even if someday our company fails, like we're still alive. Like you say, we're still in good health. We're still alive and well, and we can just build something else. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like if the company fails, the world ends. I know I failed so many startups, so I remember that feeling. But it's actually not true. There's just something else always. So I mean, thank you for sharing this with me. It's I guess not the usually the topic of this podcast, but I don't know. I felt inspired, and for me, it is so important. I hope it resonates with our audience, but it really is very 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 important for me. I'm prone to stress, and even though I don't like, someone told me today like VC is the best life, like it's the best business model. You guys just invest some money and sit back. Of course, we don't sit back and relax, but so probably I have a very good life, but still I'm stressed, and so it's always good to have those things in place. Before we wrap up, um, and before I let you go back to work, thank you so much for being so generous with your time. Um,
Pleasure, Gabriel.
no, thank you. What are you excited about with the future of April? So you have a few new integrations coming. What's the big? You said you talk to your family, you're energized, you want to do good things for the world. Like, what's one of the grand vision that you want to share with us with April in the coming months or years?
In the coming months, we're releasing a version 2.0, which is going to be much faster, much more seamless with a lot more integrations. And it's going to be way more personalized than it has been so far. I'm very excited about that initial launch that's coming, the V 2.0. And apart from that, like as we talk to more customers, so I sent out this email to my customers asking like, why are you using it? Why do you not like it? And we got a lot of really valid insights. And we're executing on all of those. Like some people said that April forgot which specific, like the people with the same name, two contacts. April picked the wrong contact. April didn't remember a certain small detail. So now I realize the devil is in the details, and we have to like just get into those smaller details. And I'm excited because we have these unique cohorts of users that are using us. Like salespeople and investors are like extremely power users, and they use it in very different ways. And now we're going to optimize for both these verticals and see how the response is. And I see a third cohort emerging, which is too early to talk about, and I'm really, really excited about that cohort as well. And once that emerges, I have like three different verticals using April very, very differently, and three ways for me to make the lives of these cohorts better.
Wow, that's super interesting. Exciting. I mean, V2 sounds 2.0 sounds amazing.
I'm
Uh,
excited.
do you have a would you venture as to make a prediction of when it's coming out? Because I'm just excited, or is that too early to
It'll
tell?
be before Thanksgiving.
Oh wow. Okay, so that's really. I mean, I don't even know when this is going to air. This is going to air before Thanksgiving, but yeah. Okay, so it's really soon.
Yeah.
Okay, so exciting. That's awesome. Um, very very cool. Let's we have a few more minutes, so let's wrap up with a few sort of predictions. It could be short answers if you want, or more developed because we have I don't know 10-ish more minutes together to the most. So what's overhyped for you in AI assistance?
What do you think is over? I don't think anything is overhyped in AI assistants. Every AI assistant is going to be like really, really useful for some set of people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. What do you think is inevitable with AI assistants then? The other sort of the same question the other way around.
Inevitable is that some jobs are going to go away. AI assistants are going to
Wow.
become powerful enough to make some jobs redundant. I'm
Wow.
I'm very sure that's going to happen. People will find alternate jobs, but some very mechanical, very methodical jobs are going to be replaced.
Um, something we haven't mentioned, but you've worked before at Zoho for quite some time, and so the question I had for you here, and so I wanted to give the context. What's one behavior that founders should copy from Zoho?
Zoho is extremely frugal in its spending, and they spend more on customer as opposed to marketing. So Zoho has
What's spending on customer rather than marketing? Is that customer success? What does that look like?
success, talking more to customers, creating events just to be closer to customers as opposed to like having very blind marketing campaigns. I
Wow,
think the founder, the
very
CEO
cool.
at the time, Sridhar, was very bullish on keeping marketing spend to a very minimum. They had products that were competing with Slack, competing with Gmail, but they said we're not going to spend on marketing. We're just going to build a better product and reach our customers faster in a better way. And I think it paid off for them.
Very cool. What's one behavior founders should not copy from Zoho?
Compromise on quality of UX. Yeah,
Oh
Zoho
wow.
could actually build better UX. Their products primarily work really well on Chrome. Their
Hmm.
Safari experience is somewhat poor. And we churned out of Zoho Mail because of the same thing.
Oh wow. Okay. Very very cool. Um, is there one last thing? Could you? I haven't asked that for a while. I don't know why it dropped off of my script. But is there a book that had a big impact on you professionally that you could recommend to us?
Um, I think Shoe Dog by Phil Knight is amazing. Like
Hmm.
when you read it, you will realize that Phil went through the exact same problems you are going through when building your startup. And it somehow makes the whole experience feel more human. Like if Nike struggles through so many things, it just feels reassuring to me in a way that I will struggle through, and maybe we'll have an exit as big as Nike did. Like starting
Yeah,
from the
that's awesome.
name, starting from like rifts between the team members, all of those things that are happening to you every single day, he would have written about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. It's a great book. I loved it as well. All right, that's all we have time for today. Neha, thank you so much for joining me. I had a great time. To our listeners, if you're still here, and you should, because we had an amazing conversation, please consider subscribing to the channel on YouTube. We publish a new episode every week. You can turn on the notification bell. You can also listen to us on your favorite podcast platform, and you should also leave us a 5-star review. You can also look for our sister channel. It used to be called Gabriel Jarrison, my name, but now it's called Lobster Capital. So you can just type in Lobster Capital in the YouTube search bar. Another channel without guests. It's not a podcast. It's an actual YouTube channel where me and some of the people from the Lobster team talk about VC and YC and the entire ecosystem. That's it for today. Thank you so much, and see you next week. Bye.
Thank you guys.